Make some noise for Mark Whitten. Woo! We did not rehearse this intro.
Hi guys. Hi. How's it going?
How are you? Good, good.
I'm good. I'm good. Oh, this is tall.
Yeah.
I'm short.
You got the center seat.
This makes me. This is deceiving. This makes me seem much taller than I am.
But they're very comfy.
They are.
They're great.
Is this thing gonna make breakfast for me? What is this?
If
Oh, God.
only.
Don't lean back.
Don't mind me.
Careful.
All
Technical
right.
difficulties. Don't worry.
Coming to the stage next, again, for the JoJo fans, we've got Kira Buckland.
Woo! Again, we did not tell them what order.
We really did not.
I think I'm good. But it's a finger. It's my own fault.
Sounds like a workers' comp.
We're having some chair issues. Pay no attention to the chair.
Hey, there's the one.
Okay.
There we go.
Hey! It's got hydraulics. It's great.
Feet can hit the ground now.
No more swinging feet. All right, and last but not least, certainly not least at all, who here has seen Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready for Shinji to come to the stage? Casey Mongillo!
Now you have to sit in the chair like Shinji. That's the rule.
Oh, please do.
That's it. We'll just put the microphone down there for you.
N-
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
How are y'all doing today?
yeah.
All right, fantastic.
How about you guys? How are you guys doing?
Doing very good.
Doing
I just
good.
just
Pretty
noticed
good.
your earrings. I really very much appreciate them. Thank you.
I wore them just for you.
Too soon? Too soon?
Always too soon.
We're stalling for time to make sure the last chair can be set up properly and everyone's safe and everyone's sitting. How you guys doing?
Good.
How's your TooManyGames going so far?
Great.
It's
yeah.
Sunday. Be honest. Are you tired?
We've had a lot of coffee already, so I think we're
That's true.
awake
So
now.
they'll be extra tired
Yeah.
later. That's how that works.
Yes.
We're gonna crash at the end of this panel. We'll be asleep.
You and me both.
They'll all hit us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been fantastic though. Yeah, the reception's been wonderful. This area is really pretty. I think we keep going to the same coffee place because they're so good. The Ebrew coffee just down the way.
Shout out. Shout out.
Shout out to Ebrew.
Sponsor? Question mark? No.
If anyone's like
This is not a
local.
paid sponsorship.
If they ever made an anime, we have 3 voice actors.
Every time I go to a new place for a con, I'm always like, one of my first tasks is what's a good local coffee place?
Yes, absolutely. Kira is very picky about her coffee, so if you have
Very
craft
picky.
coffee or access to it and bring it to Kira, I hear that there's a deep discount that she's offering on almost every print and every signature.
That's good
Right,
to know
Kira?
for the future. Sure.
You want to get started?
Yeah, I think we're good to go ahead.
We're good to
Jump
go.
right
You guys
into it.
ready? All right, let's have a nice conversation about anime and video games and stuff.
Yes.
You guys down?
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys have, like, between the 3 of you, I think about a bajillion IMDb credits, and
I feel like that's lowball.
I think about half a bajillion goes to Kira. Do you ever forget some of the characters that you voiced at this point?
Never like the major stuff, obviously, but sometimes we do really short one-off sessions for, like a mobile game or some kind of project. And sometimes we don't even know what we're working on. Like sometimes it'll be codenamed or this or that. So I definitely had things where people say like, oh, I loved you in this. And I'm like, was I in that? And also, to be honest, part of the reason my IMDb is so big is because I'm very bad about saying no to anything. So it's like, you want to work on this project? Yeah, sure. And then I get overwhelmed. So
Yeah, it's definitely like I think that happened to me actually here, where someone was like, "Are you in this?" And I was like, I think," and
Whatever the
he
internet
was like,
says.
"It says right here that you were," and I'm like, "Well, I was." And exactly for the reasons that Kira was saying is that a lot of times we'll go in, it'll be codenamed, and they're like, "You're playing 12 different characters. We're gonna do this in like an hour to 2 hours. You're doing like NPC lines." And just simply they're running through things at a breakneck pace,
Yeah.
and they don't have time to explain all the context to you or even give you the courtesy of, they may not even be able to tell you what you're in,
Yep.
and then the credit appears.
Yep.
And you find a character that way?
You know that's the thing. You a lot of times you're relying on the directors to have the context of what's happening in the situation. I know, Casey, you probably have a lot of things to say because you've done with your Red Dead experience too.
Oh man, you kind of figure out what the games are if it takes place in like the old West,
Right.
You know, but if a lot of games nowadays take place in the same kind of setting, they can kind of run together. So we really don't know what we're working on a lot of the time. So we get in there and go, okay, well, this is like a modern day setting, or it could be like a futuristic setting or something like that. I'm like, well, this could be anything. I have no idea, you know. And they don't tell you the character name. They don't tell you. They'll sometimes give you a bit of description, but nothing.
Yeah. You're really relying on the point person, and the directors also have limited info. There are a lot of NDAs.
Yeah,
Anyone
sure.
familiar with games is familiar with never hearing anything about it or the damage that leaks cause.
Yep.
But like that's why you're relying on that point person to be able to say like, I'm going to trust. You have to trust us to put you in the right mindset, and then we
Right.
just come with a bunch of options ready to play.
It's like voice actor therapy or something. Like
right.
it's like there might be an identity
Trustful.
crisis. Just like careful in that chair.
That's right. That's right. I figured it out now.
Well, that's awesome because I was gonna ask like, do the three of you think like what would that like most niche character do you think, or that rarest one, or like can you think of one off the top of your head, like a out there one that you're like, yeah, I did that, yeah. Huh?
Yeah,
I might have stumped them.
You've
I've
stumped us
them.
already. The coffee
take
just
We can just talk about JoJo and stuff, and we can just get right to that, you know.
obscure characters stuff. Gosh.
Or how about the weirdest one that you think you've done? Like you look back on that, like, yeah, I'm not proud of that one.
The weirdest one. Oh, I'm proud. I feel like we're proud of. We like to be proud of anything
Good.
that we I think attach our voice to.
Yeah.
Gosh, one that was a strange romp was Zonky Zero.
Yeah, someone brought that for me to sign,
Yeah,
and I was like so surprised because I usually don't hear people talk about that game.
Yeah, it's a very odd game, and it's one of those where you're going through your character's age rapidly. So you're going through young to teenage to middle age to old age. You're voicing all different versions of them. You're not entirely sure at what point in the story these all occur. I played a sexy doctor, and it was just
Gaga.
so it was just it's one of those things where that's a prime example of like you're gonna have to trust us. We do not have time to explain this entire story to you.
Did they say like, yeah, all right, this is the part where you have all the college debt and then you're all stressed out. Like this is the part where your character's going through a lot, and now he's graduated, then he gets the job. Oh, that's crazy.
Except with not even with like college debt, but like more just odd malformed humans like coming after you. Like inject all the game elements into it too. You're being chased by X that is going to do Y, and you know.
That sounded like college. I think that definitely sounded like college though. Luna, you wanna go ahead?
Yeah. So I did want to ask you guys, just overall, you guys have been in the industry for so long. What do you think is the best aspect of voice acting?
Well, there's a couple things that I really love. One of them being that we can inhabit all these different characters. You're not limited to how you look, as if you were, if you're doing live action acting, obviously your physical appearance plays such a role, but in voice acting, it's kind of like, well, who can you believably portray? So of course there's limits, but I've played boys, I've played older women, I've played teens, I've played kids, like monsters, all over the place. So it's really fun to get to play in all these different kinds of worlds and characters. Another thing that I really love is when you get to, especially because I think all of us up here are gamers, so when you get to like play a game and have your voice coming out of the character. So like one of my biggest dreams was to be in a fighting game. So the coolest thing ever was the first fighting game that I was a playable character in was Dead or Alive 5 Last Round. I played Honoka, and the first time that came out and I got to fight as Honoka with my voice was like the coolest thing ever.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I don't know what to add to that. Kira hit it on the head.
Pretty much sums it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is like you're not constrained by your dumb face when you're in video
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
It's like we've
Yeah.
got a face for
Stop
voice
looking at
acting.
faces.
Yeah, for real.
It's a panel of faces.
Right.
Oh man.
So,
So-
actually, oh, sorry.
No, please.
I was gonna say, Kira, you touched on this a little bit, but I was wondering, how does it feel, hearing your voice on the projects that you've done?
It's a mixed bag. I, like most actors, I'm sure, tend to be very critical of my performances. But, when you've been doing it for a while, you also just get used to it. And at some point, it kind of becomes part of the game. Like, I stream Genshin Impact, so I'm hearing my voice and Mark's voice all the time and a bunch of others. And, it's like sometimes, of course, if I'm playing through like a story thing or something for the first time, I'll make, oh, I could have done that better, or I could have done, because again, it's like a lot of times you're not seeing what's going on, you're not hearing what the other actors did, all that kind of stuff. So there's only so much you can do. But like the battle stuff, you just kind of like there's always something in your head like, yeah, that's me, but you just kind of get used to hearing it.
And you don't always like how it turns out, because when you're doing something like a JRPG, you don't know what the game is going to look like. You don't know the animation. You don't know
The expression your
expressions
character
and stuff.
might have.
So hopefully everything fits and will be fine. But sometimes it doesn't, and you go, "Ooh, I wish I could have did that, knowing what I know now." But
And that's not anything
okay.
like on the directors there, because I like directed my first game recently, which I can't talk about yet, but I'm excited. But it's the same thing. Like, we don't always know what it's going to look like visually, so we're trying to guide the actors in the best way that we can. But it might come out and it'd be like, oh, I wish I'd known that or whatever.
I think that's something too. With the video game industry, obviously, has evolved rapidly and in huge ways over the past few years. That it's like the channels of information and what information gets shared may even change as we keep going on, and they may be able to get assets to us sooner. But a lot of times, like, we're working in tandem with dev teams who are working with a bunch of stuff. They may not even necessarily know. But I think the more we get used to this workflow and the more games we obviously create, I feel like these are areas they're always like cool creative areas for improvement and specificity. And it's just one of those things that I can imagine that only improving in the future with what we all know and how we kind of like develop this common language around games. And I can't imagine that it's even just in the past 10 years taken massive leaps and strides.
So
Sure.
something I'm thinking of then is like, what's the big difference between like the adaptation part? Because a lot of you guys are taking over from a character from a completely different part of the world, and like, I think a lot of us would agree, like, it's part of a charm when like the English voice doesn't match the lips properly, and all the fun and all that stuff, or like when it's like the English voice but like the Japanese setting of the character. Is there a charm to that? Is it more fun to see it? Does it get a little weird sometimes? Like, is it? Japan's complicated. Like,
Yeah, the charm is right. I mean, I guess there are a lot of there's a whole conversation to be had about adaptation, from just like the cultural inconsistencies to I guess the thing that I would like to get rid of from the charm standpoint are like the little technical flubs. And I think that's what we focus on, but I think you can also focus on the technical way too much to the point of like hindering performance. However, that even in the games that we've done has had varying degrees. There's some games that are very strict, like this needs to be said in 2.2 seconds, and you have to pay attention to all the internal pauses.
And then it still doesn't match the mouth when you see it.
Still doesn't match. And that's picking a nit that doesn't need to be picked.
Yeah.
And then there are other games like even Genshin Impact we talked about the other day, and they don't need to adhere to timings. And in fact, I believe, don't quote me on this if anyone's filming.
quote them.
That they actually go back and there are ways in which you can have a program take over and match the flaps to what we did. But I believe that they programmed that after the fact. So they've gone back. So for people playing Genshin in English who start later, they've already gone back and in patches they've updated to have the flaps match with the English
Oh, I didn't
dialogue.
know that.
Oh, I didn't know
Is
that.
that
'cause a lot
That's
of
some
the-
AI stuff
insane.
right there.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
the story stuff I've played in it, it did not, like, you could tell the animation was for the Chinese.
Okay.
But, you know, to go around with
Right.
what you said, it doesn't really bother me because if the performance is more natural, I'm reading the subtitles along with listening to the English dialogue anyway, because that's just how my brain works.
Yeah.
So I'm not really noticing that much that the mouth is, like, not matching, you know?
But
Right.
as people who have to be very particular and very on the nose about flapping, it's the flaps, period, and anything we do. I'm like, when I watch you play, the performances are good, but I gotta be honest, it drives me nuts. Completely, I can't follow it because it's like, oh, that's pretty animation and the acting's good, but the mouth just keeps going and or
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't
Or
open
it
at all,
stops.
and the character just becomes a hell of a mime. I don't know what's happening. You know, it's just like
For
I
a
don't know.
cutscene, that would bother me for sure. But
It
if it's
does-
just
it
like
does,
in-game
so-
stuff, then it's not so bad. But it is kind of funny when Paimon's like, Paimon, thanks, we should do like Paimon's like screaming, but with no mouth.
Yeah. And there are a lot of like compromises that get made in video games too. Like we've played plenty of games where it's just like, and then there's a paragraph down below it, or like,
yeah.
whoa, and it's another paragraph. So you have these things.
Partially voice acted, right?
Yeah,
Voice
I mean,
acted.
even right now, even in games, Tears of the Kingdom, they have a whole dialogue of that, and they zhuzh those sounds like nothing else. Like
Yeah.
they are like, we got to get 20,000 hms so that we can get to the perfect, which is like its own detail in and of itself.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's like an artistry to getting around it. I guess that's the charm aspect.
What Zelda had the just like the like Skyward Sword or whatever.
Oh,
is
did
that,
they have,
does
like-
that partially voice acted then? Or it's just yeah.
Like, little,
It's all
little
the
Charlie
parents
Brown
from
trumpet.
yeah. Charlie Brown's parents are
That's the Animal Crossing sound going on.
they're the hero of time. Charlie Brown's parents. That's canon.
Yeah.
So, one question I thought of too, since you guys have worked on so many things together, I don't think the three of you have worked on a project all together on one, or I could be wrong. I'm not sure.
Brave
Yeah.
Exvius, right? We
Yeah.
all
Oh,
know
yeah.
her.
Final
Brave-
Fantasy, yeah, Brave
Oh, yeah.
Exvius, yeah.
Yes, there we go.
When you guys play these games and you hear these voices of these characters, do you ever get like, if you're playing a fight game where you're like, Mark, you don't like yell at the character or anything like that? Are you ever like, why is Mark hitting me right now with his flame sword? Like, come on, I'm trying to fight. Like,
Gosh.
is there ever those moments where you're like, oh, that's my buddy right there, more than it's like the
Sometimes,
character?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't help it.
It can't help it. With Bloody Roar 2, when we played all the time, our friend Xander Mobus, we had him play Shenlong, who's like the main, like the final boss.
Yeah.
And if I lose, I'm like, Xander! Every time. Yeah. So I'll call him up and say, you did it again.
Or like the Raiden Shogun fight is really annoying in Genshin, but it's like I love Anne so much. I'm like, I just hate fighting your character sometimes, but you're awesome.
You go ahead, Luna?
I'm stuck on Raiden Shogun. I haven't gotten past that part of Genshin. I died to Raiden Shogun, and I was just like, I'm done with Genshin for right now. Thank you. Come back in 5 years.
It's a sensitive topic.
That's it.
Gosh, I have so many questions, and we have so little time. I do want to ask, again, you guys have such an extensive filmography. You guys have been in the industry for so long. Do you guys have like a favorite role that you've done so far?
Yes, but it's not out yet.
Oh.
But yes.
NDA.
Yeah, I really wish, but I cannot say words. But soon.
Keep an eye out.
TooManyGames 2024.
Yeah, really.
Mine is obviously Jolene Cujo. I literally wanted to play that character for 8 years, so you know.
Nice.
Yeah, there are way too many of them, but mine is one of my bigger original animation experiences was doing O on Home Adventures with Tip and O, which is a TV series we ran for like 4 seasons on Netflix. Follows the after the movie, and I got to voice match the main character that was voiced by Jim Parsons, and work with a lot of cool people. And then in addition to that, they allowed me to jump into all these different roles where I got to voice like little creatures like the Kubish, which are little like llama things, and like different little characters here and there. And Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was a trip. I really loved it. It was kind of like one of those old dream come true roles. Yeah.
Did any of them say Bazinga?
Bazinga? No.
That's what Jim
no,
said, right?
Bazinga
Right?
was
No? Okay.
was absent.
No, that's the other thing. Sorry, my bad.
That's
My
it.
bad.
That's
That's
it.
the
I
other
was
thing.
very happy about that being absent.
That's great. Do we want to get ready for?
Do we, yeah, you know, we'll get ready. We have a couple more minutes before we're gonna open up the mic to the audience.
Let's go
I
over
think this is the part where we break some hearts. Kira, you mentioned JoJo. Neither one of us are JoJo people. I've seen one episode. I don't think you've seen any. Is that?
I was really hoping as we get set up for fan questions, if you could, in the simplest way, try and explain. Like, I know people stand. I know a couple things. Why do people love JoJo so much? I don't like.
It's
I
a
don't.
loaded one.
I just
Yeah.
haven't started
Good luck.
it yet. But every time I hear it, people yell at me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just give me some time. You know how much stuff is on Netflix? Like, gosh. Like what is it about JoJo that like has just blown up in the world? Like for all of like I don't
Oh, it's so hard to summarize it. But one thing I say is like they don't call it JoJo's Ordinary Adventure. So it's just so unique. If any of you guys are classic rock fans, there's so many classic rock references. They had to like censor a lot of the names in the localization because of copyright. But you know, you can hear like, especially if you're watching it in Japanese, you can kind of hear like, oh yeah, I know what that name is supposed to be. Or you know, I read the manga, so I knew like the names beforehand and stuff. But it's so unique, and each part is kind of its own world in a sense. Like there's obviously things that connect them all, but you know, I would say I know it can be hard to get into at first. Some people like they watch part 1 and they're like, I can see it, but maybe it's not for me. But keep going, like especially when you get to stands, because I know it took me a little bit to get like super into it, but when I was hooked, I was hooked.
oh my god.
I keep hearing that too. Like once you're in it for life.
Yeah, there's not many people who are just like, I casually enjoy JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's like a lifestyle.
That was the thing that I was like I haven't started it yet. Why are you so, like give me a minute like I'll get there. Yeah.
Yeah, there are memes about how it's like you say anything and a JoJo fan will come in and be like, yes, but have you heard about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? I am that person, sorry.
Who's guilty of it? Who's guilty? Raise your hand. All right.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
The,
Yeah.
the whole
I'm
time
sure.
you're
I
just
mean,
like,
we literally
yeah.
have Dio in the back there. So.
It's awesome. All right, do we want to? All right, so I'll go over the ground rules real quick one more time for fan questions. Do we have anybody that has any questions and stuff that might want to ask something and all that? All right, so what we're gonna do?
Don't be afraid. Raise your hand if you have a question.
Raise
there
those
you
hands.
go. Be proud of your question.
All right. So since we have a really chill group, actually, do you guys want to come up over there to the wall, line up, and then
Line
just
up right along this side.
feed around? That's fine.
Perfect. Perfect.
Hey, there's more people lining
Yeah,
up than
okay,
hands that went up.
Right. We said be
What-
proud of your
What-
question.
what-
Raise your
what?
hand.
How does this? What?
Right? That's
All
fine.
right. So we're gonna one by
Ooh,
one.
One by
walk
one.
up.
If first person, if you want to come too, just remember, just don't touch the mic. Just lean in really close. You see how like weirdly
get close and
I-
personal.
See how weirdly close I am to the microphone? That's the technology. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Is this good?
A little bit
Maybe a little bit
closer. A little bit closer.
This good?
There you go.
There you go.
I guess this goes for anyone, but is there like any long dormant JRPGs you wish would come back a la like the HD 2D thing that Square's doing right now?
Man.
Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger, like any of those. Have they remade those?
Yes.
Yeah, they did remake them, but they're so good.
The re-remake.
They can keep remaking things over and over.
I feel like this is a you question.
Yeah, that's definitely a Casey question.
RPGs I would like to see come back. Any of the Final Fantasies. Especially the PS1 era. PS1 era Final Fantasies, bring them back, please. Onegaishimasu, please.
And if we're not limiting it to RPGs and like fighting games or any other games can be included, Bloody Roar. Because this one got me into Bloody Roar. We did a whole project. We redubbed Bloody Roar 2 and got it running on the PS1 and did all this stuff. And we would love to see that franchise come back.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for the question.
All right. Next person.
Good afternoon.
Hey there.
Afternoon.
So it's very obvious you've all had many roles. Some definitely you're more well known for than others. Are there? I guess it's for anyone who's interested in answering. Are there any roles that you wish people recognize more, like a performance you've really loved, but no one seems to really talk about it or acknowledge it?
Well, there's one I mentioned at last panel, which was 86, which was my
Yeah.
character Theo, Rika, in 86, which is amazing anime that I am sad that not enough people watched. So if you have not watched the anime 86, do yourself a favor, check it out.
Write that down. Write that down.
It's written down.
And the crowd goes wild.
Yeah, and the crowd goes wild.
86.
The other crowd goes wild. Yeah.
I had mentioned, I think I had mentioned that Unmetal game before, but
Right.
going even
Yeah.
further back than that, one of my first VO projects, just with a friend, is this overseas project called Black Hole.
They really love that answer.
Black hole?
Yeah, you were in Black Hole? What? This is how we find things out, folks. So Black Hole. It was made. It's one of those maddening sort of side scroller, die a bunch of times puzzle games. Maybe not full on Super Meat Boy, but something along those lines. Really one of those maddening, increasingly difficult platformers. And I play a character named Ati. Who did you play in Black Hole?
Oreo?
Okay. Oh my god.
Like the computer girl that you
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
hear
yeah.
about?
Absolutely. It's a very charming game. And when they did the localization, it was just fun working on that. And I think I love games like that as well. And I just think it's a really cute game that they don't often pack those sort of games with story, but this one did. And I think it's really cool and funny.
Interesting.
Did you have one, Kira?
Oh,
You gonna piggyback on Black Hole with me?
yeah, well, no, there's so many, but I really enjoyed playing Yuri in the Tower of God anime adaptation of the webtoon, and I would love it if more people check that out.
Interesting.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, next question. Nice and close to the microphone.
Hello, like that?
Hello.
Nice job.
Great.
Nice job.
Hi.
Hello.
So
Yes.
I'm gonna point my question at Kira and Casey, if that's okay, because you two voiced some character or a character in the Gunvolt games, and I just wanted to know what the process of that was like, since it's a bit of a smaller company that makes those, and they don't always do like full English dubs. So
So this was a different one for us, because usually when you work on a game like that that's made in Japan, you'll have like a middleman in the States. We work directly with Indie Creates, which is just directly in Japan. So we were patched in to, that was a game we were actually supposed to record in Japan, but we couldn't due to the pandemic. So instead we did it remote, patched in directly to Indie Creates. And what's the name of the director who did the...
Diana Garnett, who's a friend that I met through convention circles, actually is a singer and voice actor over in Japan. And
Ippo Yamada?
oh yeah,
If
sorry, I thought you
Yamada
meant
was
like
the-
a English voice director. Yeah.
Well, he was there too. And I wasn't sure who he was. And it turns out he like did all the sound and music for the Mega Man games. And I was like, he was listening. Oh, that's cool. I was like, oh, be on my best behavior. But it was really cool because we just worked directly with them, and it was just a little bit different, but it was really cool because we did it from home. But it's also interesting because our voices are also in, like, if you buy the game in Japan, you can still hear us in the game. You know, it's so bizarre. But I thought that was really cool to get to work directly with them.
The couple years that companies were more open to remote recording because they had to be, a lot of really cool things happen. You see a lot of cast crossovers with like LA and Texas cast, for example, sometimes New York actors in there too, all sorts of things. So, you know, there's all sorts of pros and cons, but remote opened up a lot of cool things at the time.
For sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So real quick, how would that work? Did you guys like record in like a do you guys have like booths at home? Was it like a
Yeah,
closet and
yep.
a microphone? Like,
Yep.
did you have to get really creative with Zoom and all that? And like,
Some people did. We already had a booth, so we were lucky because I've done so many like indie projects and just working with clients all over the world and stuff. So I already had a booth. We did have to, when like anime and stuff started recording from home for a time, which I never expected was going to happen, but we had to upgrade, some of our equipment and things like that. But yeah. It was a challenge for dubbing because you're matching everything to the video in real time, but there's always going to be some delay. So
Yeah, there's
it's
a little
like,
bit of lag and latency. Mostly how it works is that we all like had to get better internet connections. You want to be hardwired.
Yes.
You work generally through generally in projects they wanted to work with like Source Connect or
Connect,
IPDTL.
Yeah.
And those are systems that allow studios to record on their end through your equipment. And so you kind of set that up through your booth. You generally, I think maybe all of us had to get a couple extra monitors in there so we had more
Yeah, we
screen
did
real
upgrade,
estate.
yeah.
more foam.
Yeah, more fun. You also want to isolate, like, not to get terribly technical, but here we are. You want to like isolate your sound, so you can't just like have a laptop in there, otherwise that thing's gonna fry up and the fan's gonna be just like.
And in the
I
background,
had
yeah.
to upgrade to a whole different computer.
Yeah, so you have to make a lot of technical changes to get a workable sound-free studio space.
Yes, sure.
So we were kind of scrambling, and then to make that all work, you basically, for like a dub, you connect over anything where they can screen share, so you can view the screen, and then you either have your script in front of you, or they're sharing a script on like Google Docs or something, and you're just, you just got a lot of things. You're managing your space, and you're kind of up
And you
and
have
running.
to like self-record too. Most
So you're
of the
kind of your
time.
own engineer too, to an extent.
Yeah.
To an extent, because you have to start your files. So you're doing the voice acting. You're doing the thing. You're reading all the stuff. You gotta edit yourself real quick. Start, stop. Or you can just send them like a
You
gigabyte
start and
file.
stop.
with-
Oh my God, I just leave that thing running.
oh my god! no.
I don't want like a 3
let them
gigabyte
know.
file.
I gotta go easy on that poor engineer because he's gonna be going through so much dead air and like
True.
and just us laughing and messing up and like, oh, that's another laugh. Oh, okay. When's the actual cue come up?
That is
That's
true.
why I do it. So, but
You're good. You're good.
It's very similar to the struggle we all faced as gamers of just getting better internet to make it work, because that's what
Yeah.
I feel like we all did during the
There
pandemic.
it is.
Sure.
Get better internet. It makes it easier.
And hardwire it.
For sure. No Wi-Fi. No.
No.
All right, nice and close to the microphone.
Hey, I was wondering if you have any RPG classes that you would homebrew any that you would identify yourself as if you'd want. And a more personal question for you:
Sure.
what'd you think of Bug Snacks and your role in it?
I absolutely adored Bug Snacks. It is one of my favorite games that I've played in recent years. It's true. I love the game. I love it.
Thank you.
As much as I feel like I would probably be bard classed. If I was like RPG classic myself, I'd be a bard. I gotta say. Are we talking D&D classes here? Or are we talking just?
Like I said, anything like hell. Maybe Elder Scrolls technically has classes.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Do you have any? Some?
I'd probably be a healer.
Yeah.
But also like bard.
Not
you know,
a druid, not a cat druid.
Right?
Oh,
Right?
Yeah, there's a lot. Like I can identify with like a lot of different parts of them.
Right. Yeah. I guess druids have healing capabilities too. So I think.
True. Me, I'd be a thief.
Of course.
Of course.
Where's my wallet?
We reenact that at home when you steal the Baja Blast when it comes in the limited edition cans.
Oh yeah, you know it.
So we need a tank to round out our party because clearly I don't think we're pulling.
A lot of bards. We're gonna be playing a lot of music.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Right? All right, nice and close to the microphone.
Heck yeah.
Okay, first I need to apologize. Part 6 is my second least favorite part.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I just
Ouch.
really hate that ending. Fuck Pussy.
Whoa, kid right there, PG.
It's personal.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay, moving on to the question. Is there any old, obscure anime or JRPGs that you wish and pray every day would get localized and you a chance to voice a character in it? Like, I myself would love to see Gao Gai Gar and Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy, the Holy War get localized one day.
Oh, something we kind of touched on the other day is like Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. Like, it would be cool because then we could like really get a lot of stuff with our characters.
Right.
Which would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Leon, Erica, and then we get and Greg, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's like an easy, immediate go-to. Yeah. So hopefully, like, come on, Nintendo, make it happen. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, and whichever one my character was in. Limstella? I can't remember which one.
Path of Radiance, somebody said.
Was that the one?
I think.
I can't remember. But yeah.
Someone Google it.
Google away.
To Google.
As far as animes, I don't know. Do we have any animes that we would want to resurrect and be in? Get dubbed?
Let's go back to like 1968 here. Gegege no Kitaro. That'd be dope to have dubbed. I don't think it's been dubbed before. It's one of my favorite anime of recent times, even though it's came out long before my time. It's really cool. If you haven't
Nice.
seen it, check it out. I'd like to bring that back, and I'd like to work on it. I'll do the dub. Put me in, coach. Put me in, coach. Come on,
You have
let's
your-
do it. Put me in.
You're your own engineer. Do it. You can do it.
That's it.
You got it.
We've done enough of this now. COVID prepared you.
Let's go, baby. All day, baby. Let's go.
Awesome. Thanks for the question.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Come on down.
So, first of all, part 6 is my fave. I have Jolene stickers everywhere. I'm
Yeah.
disappointed in my 2 colleagues that have never seen JoJo's. It's terrible.
He yelled at me before this panel.
I absolutely did.
Every day.
Every day. I still will.
And I still want to
Um,
watch JoJo.
So, even though you're a part of Street Fighter and you're Falcon, is there any fighting game characters that you would have loved to voice? Any of you? I'm a big fighting game fan. So.
Dizzy from Guilty Gear. I always say that one.
Second favorite Guilty Gear character.
Oh, and Akiha, for one that hasn't been voiced in English in general, Akiha from Melty Blood.
Okay, okay.
Wow, I know there's always like one person who's like, yeah, Melty Blood. Let's
I
get
do play a little bit of
CRT
Melty
set
Blood.
up in a
That's cool.
bathroom, and you know.
That's like the Evo dream is the bathroom melting. So.
God, this is taking me back. I think was it Soul Edge, and was there like a Siegfried in Soul Edge?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's like I'm like diving deep to remember like my childhood. You know, when you stay up way too late till like 5 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I would always like. I was terrible at it, but man, I dig going back to revisit that nostalgia. Yeah.
So is this like characters that we would want to play?
Mhm.
Yeah, anything.
Man, Bridget from Guilty Gear would be a lot of fun. But as far as something that hasn't been done in English, I don't think it has. Chris from King of Fighters would be fun.
Ooh.
That's a good pull. I like
Right?
that. I like that. No one really talks about King of
Right?
Fighters. It's so popular.
Oh, then I would want to be Athena from King of Fighters.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay,
I
okay.
cosplayed her at like Evo 2012.
That's cool. That was one of my first Evos that I went to, actually. So that's great. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
He is so happy.
He is. That just made his life dream.
Now he won't yell at me anymore.
Yes, he will.
Hello. All right.
How are you?
Generally, amongst the 5 of you, what would you say is like in the beginning or even now? What's your biggest motivation and inspiration for like your voice acting career?
Ooh.
Well, for my voice acting career, I'm hoping that it just starts someday. You know, that'd be great. You know, Luna.
I mean, hey, if I could get a career in voice acting, I can do like some kawaii voices.
Then
every
you
now
too
and
could be up on this panel someday.
then. Oh my God, we could be part of the panel.
you
That's Inception.
You
I
could be
can't
sitting at this
comprehend
table
that right now. It's Sunday.
We'll
It's
be
too early.
moderating the panel and also be guests. That would be.
I'll be my own guest.
Is that why there's a division in
yourself.
tables?
Wow. They put the non-voice actors at this table. You know what?
Wait, what? I'm at the divide here. So I don't know.
You gotta choose.
Live in-
You got the
oh,
big
no.
What
chair
side
though.
are you on?
Ah.
Whose side are you on?
But
Mark?
what?
Too much pressure.
But you have a different chair. What does that mean?
Oh no!
Are you the best
There's
of both
so
worlds?
many factors.
That means
This
you're-
is terrible. I want to lower myself
Yeah,
down
look-
more now. I can't do it. Where the free? Anyways, inspiration, at least for me, is gosh, it's fluid. I feel like whatever I'm like watching or connecting with, I always find different inspiration. One recent one is Michael Fassbender, and I just freaking love his work. I love watching just good actors. So whenever I come across any good actor, like I'd be watching Ted Lasso and I find like bits of Ted Lasso like coming into my reads. It's just whatever I'm kind of like thinking of and connecting with. Fassbender, I feel like for Prometheus, when they did that little short clip of him being David and advertising the David robot series, it's such a good clip and it gets referenced so many times in breakdowns. And I mean, beyond that, I just like his work in general. So actors like that, well, I try to like, I don't know, just try to dive into whatever their body of work is and carry little bits and bobs forward.
Kind
Whatever.
of just absorb it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's exactly what you're describing is exactly kind of what I do. Yeah.
They even tell you that in acting class, they're like, just steal from everywhere.
Well, steal is a look. I know I said I'd be a thief, but
Thief checks out.
but
wait, guys.
borrow, be inspired by.
Yeah. It's
Because it's gonna be
professional
your
thief.
own just by virtue of the fact that you're a different person with a different creative process.
Right. And I mean, seeing folks, it's having those idols, mentors, heroes, whatever you want to call them, the people that you look up to and respect their body of work, and to build upon that, to learn from that, I think is really important. And it's something that I think we all do probably just reflexively. Like if something speaks to you, you take that inspiration from it. Yeah.
For sure.
That's what it is for me most recently. I don't know about for y'all, like what's in your heads these days. Oh, sorry, and Hades. I freaking love Hades, and I've been like, I love that game. I love the voice work in it, and I definitely am always kind of going back to revisit moments of that to be like, what are they doing with that? I think it's a really cool place that they got into. I think they embody their characters so well. And so I find myself revisiting that game a lot just for some inspiration.
Yeah, honestly, like exactly what you said, and it can be inspiration from anything, like you said, even a live action show or something that's not specifically voice acting. I guess like kind of a step further, whatever I'm like obsessed with at the moment, like my current obsession right now is Back to the Future. So I'm always like, oh, I want to be in something inspired by Back to the Future, like
That's
that
all my
references
fault,
it.
by the way.
I know it is.
I showed her the movie. She finally saw it. She didn't see it as a kid. I showed her the movie last year.
No, you first showed me in 2019. We watched it again last year.
We watched like the whole. I got like the 8K edition. Well, let's watch all the movies. We did Thanksgiving, and she has not been the same since. She dropped JoJo, and she's like, I'm gonna get everything Back to the Future. I'm like, oh my god, she wants to buy a DeLorean. And honestly,
bringing it back. They're coming back.
It would be an amazing purchase.
Yeah.
There's a musical now.
We were watching crash test videos, last night of DeLoreans too.
I was trying to show her it's not the safest of automobiles,
Yeah.
and the thing goes 30 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour into a
How'd
wall.
they go 88?
It actually doesn't go up to
Crushed.
88. Fun fact.
Yeah,
That's why
max
it breaks
is
the space-time
85.
Well,
continuum.
I guess it was a modified DeLorean.
It was
Definitely
yeah. I guess you could say they did it for the movie, but no, just Doc Brown did it. Had to get up to 88, got to modify it.
Are you gonna go see the musical?
I'd like
I would
to.
love to.
If we're ever in a place
Which
where we can go
I guess
see
they
it.
can make a musical out of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can.
There's a Jaws musical.
All right.
Oh my
Is that
gosh.
real?
All right. Inspiration. Have we gotten up there? I think we got away from the
the-
inspiration.
Watch out, the sharks in the deep end.
But that goes right back to inspiration. She's inspired to buy a very expensive vehicle that doesn't run.
That's true. That's true.
Because of great acting. So there
Very
you go.
called out here.
Touche.
The vehicle walks. It doesn't run.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh. Yeah.
Flame Ashera has entered
Can
the building.
you
The
hear
Flame
me?
Ashera.
Can you hear me? Yes?
Oh, I did the pose. Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, great.
Yes.
Just worried about this.
No, that's okay.
So, I've heard other voice actors talk about, voice acting wasn't the thing they were getting in. They just kind of fell into the profession. So I was just curious, did you set out to be a voice actor? What, how'd you end up in this career? I guess is what I'm trying to say. And like, is there a particular person like you heard maybe in a game and you were like, oh man, that's awesome. I want to do that.
Pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. But my thing was I wanted to do game design. So I
Okay.
studied programming and audio design and pretty much all the aspects of making a video game. And I got really good at that. And then somewhere along the line, I just started doing some of the voice acting for these little projects I would do by myself. And I'd get some of my friends to do it. And it was a lot of fun. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is fun. And it wasn't until like maybe I was in high school and I'm like, I've had enough people tell me now that I don't suck. Maybe I should look into this. Maybe.
In
So
high
that's
school?
In high school. So that's where
wow.
Kira and I met on an online voice acting website where we could just practice and just mess around voice acting wise and be like, what can we do? I don't know. Let's do a couple of video game mods or just like a quick little dub or just something we can do for fun just to see what we can do.
Yeah, that's why I always tell people get involved in hobby stuff, make
Yeah.
your own projects with your friends. I think a lot of people these days, because of, social media and there's all those sorts of stuff that goes into it, but they feel
Yeah.
like right away everything has to be a business, it has to be a money-making endeavor, and there's nothing wrong with being business-minded and thinking for the future, but doing, just fun things and that obviously, don't get taken advantage of, don't work for free on like a commercial project or anything like that, but, just do stuff for fun, just collab with people. That's literally what I did back in the day. I would just message animators on Newgrounds and be like, hey, do you want a voice for your Flash animation? That sort of thing. But, to answer your question more specifically, I did want to be a voice actor. I guess, I kind of the thing that I wanted to do before that was I wanted to be a singer. But, then I kind of realized, I'm like passionate about vocal performance. And so that kind of translated into voice acting. But, when I was like 16 is when I knew I wanted to be a voice actor.
Cool.
Yeah, I definitely didn't like target it specifically. I kind of targeted anything in the entertainment world.
Performing
I-
in general, yeah.
Yeah, I was a theater kid, so for a while I was like, I want to be on Broadway, and I'm like, I want to be on film. I knew I kind of wanted to do everything. I just didn't know when anything would necessarily line up. So after a while, I started to actually like kind of more or less target VO, but it was on my radar. It was just part of a larger plan, and I don't even know kind of what the plan is, despite being where I am right now. I mean,
There's
our
no
careers
roadmap
could take
for
us
it.
anwe're
There's no roadmap for
There is
getting
no
into
roadmap.
this. So
Hey,
Yeah.
where we're going, we don't need roads.
oh my gosh.
Had to.
Thank you. Good night. No.
Yeah.
But good night, everybody. But
Yeah.
but there's no book on how to do this. There, people have written literal books on how to get it, but it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
And just like you said, you're just like, well, I'll do this. Okay, I just kind of fell into this then, and you knew what you wanted to do, but there's still no direct way to get into
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. And then, what we did back in the day, it's like, those specific communities either don't exist anymore or it's not, the same as it used to be. But,
Right.
I try to, with the community that I founded, Voice Acting Club, we try to sort of have those things like, resources for actors at all parts of their journey. And, people can post projects where they need someone and, all that kind of stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, so we are winding down. So these will be the last two questions. So just a couple more minutes left.
Okay, first off, Mark, Kira, Casey, love all three of you. All of you make some of my favorite Fire Emblem characters come alive, especially you, Mark, with Leon. Thank you so much for bringing him to life.
Thank you.
So kind of a question for the two of you, because Kira, I kind of already know your answer to this. What
Yeah.
is a dream project that you have watched on the sideline for years, would die to be a part of, and if given the chance, you would accept it immediately? Because I think we all know Kira's.
Oh gosh. Are you answering first, or is this on me?
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. He hit the button.
I'm
He
so
pressed the
glad.
Kingdom Hearts button.
I'm so glad people applaud. I'm like, yes.
Kira.
Well, I mean, you already said like we know mine, and that happened by some miracle.
Well, what is it now?
Back to the Future.
Yeah. What's the new dream?
That's the new dream.
you caught the car. What's the next car to catch?
Yeah.
Yeah, being like a Back to the Future.
Putting it
inspired-
through
or-
time.
Actually, I know one that's like kind of out of the box. I mean, obviously, like I know in a lot of cases, the original actors are totally available to come back and reprise their roles. So, wouldn't want to step on anybody's toes. But I would love to do something related to like a Gem and the Holograms reboot, because everything about that is my aesthetic. Like I've literally cosplayed Gem before.
Gosh. For me, it's hard to say because they're already like they're very close to having already been done. There's no need to reboot either of these things. They're already ongoing. Like I'm talking about like games like Uncharted or The Last of Us, and mostly because I really love with all my theater background and everything. I love motion capture and I love the potential of motion capture. And to be like a lead in a big mocap project, I think would be fantastic. Something like, you know, Red Dead, filming for years on stages. Like, it's that sort of blend of doing live theater because you're getting to work with your fellow actors right there in that space. And of course, blending all the voice work and video games and all that sort of passion and love for those projects together. So I don't know if it's necessarily a specific project because I can't say like, I want to be Joel. It's like, that was done very well. There's no need to redo that.
Yeah. Twice,
right? But it's like, it's one of those things where I guess being a part of the industry in that fashion going forward is like a big priority of mine right now. I've been lucky enough to be in a motion capture project recently. And I just hope that stuff like that keeps on coming across our, you know, our doorsteps, and that we can like get involved in it. Yeah.
Because I haven't really done much since I worked on Red Dead, but like I worked on a project like a week or so ago. I was doing mocap and facial cap for the first time in a while, and I'm like, I miss the hell out of
Feels
this.
good.
It's crazy, and it's just a whole different experience. I just want to keep doing it.
I think that would be so fun. Yeah, I've never done mocap, but like literally when I signed with my agency for voice acting, I was like, I want to audition for mocap projects. And I have gotten to audition for a couple in the past. You know, didn't book it, but it's something that I would love to explore more, maybe take a class on it someday, something like that.
Thanks for the question, though. Yeah, appreciate it. All right.
This will be our last question.
The last.
Hi, this is actually a question for Casey specifically, just because I was curious.
Mamma mia. Sorry, that's the other actor.
Is Charles here?
Charles.
I just so I don't embarrass myself, you voice Angel from Chainsaw Man, right? Like, I'm correct on that?
Say that again.
There's a man yelling.
There's a man yelling quite loudly behind me.
Something about 2 minutes.
I will have to ask you politely to repeat your question. Gomenasai.
You voiced Angel from Chainsaw
Oh,
Man,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
A lot of people on Twitter, because you voiced the character, started headcanoning the character as non-binary. And they were like really happy about that representation. And I just wanted to see how like you felt about that specifically, since like you voiced the character, you know more about the character. Like, what's your interpretation on
I don't
that?
know anything about the character yet,
Oh,
to
really?
be completely honest. But if people can see a fictional character and they can see like themselves in a fictional character, even if it's something like being like non-binary, if it's like a comfort thing for people too, like absolutely, that's awesome.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's all I had.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to see how you felt about it, because
Yeah,
like
no,
everyone on Twitter was like,
I wish I
really
could elaborate
happy.
more, but I still haven't seen Chainsaw Man yet.
Really?
Yeah, I'm waiting to dive into it. If there's like more to it, I want to go full into it if we can do more.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But yeah. But
All
thank
right.
you for the question.
Of course.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Thank you all for your amazing questions.
Awesome.
Nick, I think you said you had one last question to ask our wonderful guest.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, wait. We covered that. Oh, yeah. I'm here. Hello. Welcome to the panel.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Well, no, because we talked about it a little bit, but we always like to end our panels with one last question, especially when we're at something like Too Many Games. And we're going to do it super quick. You guys said you are all gamers. So the different question will be then is, what are you guys playing right now if you guys are gamers? What are you getting into? Nothing? Back to the Future?
I'm currently playing Diablo 4.
Who isn't?
Right now, yeah. If anyone else is playing it and you're in the Orbe Monastery, I'll be shouting from behind a door somewhere or like in a book. But But yeah, very excited to revisit that one. I think that it's just a phenomenal sequel to it. I love that it goes back to those Diablo 1 and 2 roots. Playing a necromancer right now, so I'm very, very excited to
Not
have
a
my
bard.
undead army with me again. Yeah, so that's what I'm into right now.
So people will either love or hate my answer for this, but Genshin Impact takes up a lot of my time because I'm kind of addicted to it, and they keep having new events and new things you have to do, and I don't want to miss out on my free primos. So I do play Genshin a lot.
So you're addicted.
I stream it on Twitch, so you know it's fun. We do co-op with viewers. I just barely, but I just beat floor 12 of Spiral Abyss for the first time, which is like a huge milestone, so I'm excited about that.
And I have a copy of Final Fantasy 16 waiting for me when I get back.
Same.
So
Let's go.
I'll be
He
starting
said
that
it.
one.
He said it.
He said the name. He
He said the thing, and you choose.
16.
Everybody's happy now. Oh man, guys, this was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
So before we go, I want to say, is there anywhere we can find you guys at? Anything you guys want to plug coming up? Anything that you can't talk about that you wish you could talk about?
So many things.
All right.
So
lot of things.
watch the new season of Demon Slayer. That's happening right now because Miss Mitsuri is featured.
Yes.
New Demon Slayer. Yeah, always good. I'll plug the third season.
I was gonna
of the
say,
show.
are you in the new season?
I can't tell you.
I will cry.
No, it's just a good show. Watch the show.
It's a great show.
Yeah, I guess a lot of stuff that is NDA. Just like, I mean, keep up with us on social. We'll post about it when we can.
Yeah. A lot of stuff coming really soon, but hopefully
Yeah.
soon. But I can't say anything. I'm
He's
sorry.
so excited.
I'm so excited.
Next year, he's gonna talk about so much stuff. It's gonna be
I
great.
will not shut up about the
If
stuff.
you can't say it, can you write it down?
No. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, we all have a task for the rest of the day. Get Casey to spill
Confess.
beans.
Awesome.
Pokemon Journey.
Guys, can we make some noise for our panelists up here real quick? It's awesome. For Mark, for Kira, and for Casey, thank you guys so much for coming out.
Thank y'all.
I'm Nick, this is Luna, we're from Pass the Controller. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys so much.
Peace.